think among the most important is the mobilization of both policymakers and researchers. And all this mobilization has been supported by several important and very successful events. I would like to mention only two in Beirut last winter, dedicated to the framework conditions of the cooperation between EU and Middle East, but also a year earlier in Barcelona, dedicated to migration and diaspora. Several activities were fully dedicated to the researchers, and I mean here the brokerage events, the trainings, the networking among people, coaching, etc. So the main role of CeRISS under this project was dedicated to analytical work to see a little the state of affairs in the cooperation between EU and Middle East. And even more important, we prepared a document with recommendations about what is needed in order to boost the cooperation between EU and the Middle East countries. That was our main activity under the Merid project. We know that Horizon 2020 is very open, but also very challenging for the participation, especially for researchers from third country and from Middle East in particular. So what we recommend and what I presented in Tehran was a set of short-term and long-term activities that need to be implemented in order to boost the cooperation. Just in few words, when we talk about short-term activities, we need to increase the participation in Horizon 2020, so we need to provide some tips about the strengthening of the national contact points for Horizon 2020 in these countries. But, and this is even more important, this is not sufficient. It needs to be accompanied by targeted and proactive measures from the side of the interested countries in Middle East. And when I talk about targeted measures, I really believe that few travel grants need to be given to the researchers. They need to mobilize their scientific diaspora. They need to better take advantage of the European COST program. And also, even if it sounds a little strange, I really believe they should try to participate in more co-fund activities with EU, the ERANET called projects. But there are also mid to long-term activities that could be implemented jointly between EU and Middle East. And I'm talking here mainly about capacity building activities in order to reduce the gap between EU and Middle East. And here we can mention peer reviews of the STI systems in Middle East. We could talk about training for policymakers. We can talk about intensifying relations in innovation and in particular creating links with the European technological platforms and so and so. I believe that science diplomacy has a more increasing role to play in a more, let's say, recent challenges. You mentioned migration, you mentioned gender equality. When talking about Iran and Iraq, we know also that there were a lot of issues concerning the nuclear program in Iran. So we see that there is a strong interlink between science, diplomacy, and is a real nexus among these. Science has to play a very strong role in external relations of the EU. So we see that there is a European way of doing science, of doing policy dialogue in science, and finally science diplomacy. So I think it's something that needs to continue, needs to attract the attention and the priority from the EU side, but at the same time, it needs to be accompanied by precise activities and precise instruments in order to avoid raising false expectations.